What's going on, everyone? Juicebags here, and welcome back to the channel. Dungeon Defenders Awakened launches on Steam in early access in less than 1 week. That is on Friday, February 21st. Now, we still don't know an actual launch time, but I think it'd be pretty safe to say it will be Friday morning, probably before noonish Eastern Standard Time. Now, with the launch of early access on Steam, the current pre-order store is going to be shutting down on February 21st as well. Now, this means that those pre-ordered goods that you can currently get for pre-ordering the game will no longer be available after February 21st. So the additional virtual goods like the skins and the pet will not be available after 21st, and there will be some other tier of systems launching on the individual platform stores. Now, one main concern that's been brought up time and time again ever since the game was announced is the hacking and modding of items that in a lot of aspects really hurt Dungeon Defenders 1 going to be returning in Dungeon Defenders Awakened. As we know, there will be offline play available, and the peer-to-peer hosting brought many questions from quite a few members of the community about how hacking will be handled. Now, Chromatic did address this directly. Well, let's take a quick look at it.
Yeah. So there's been a lot of talk about hacking and the type of problems DD1 had early in its life. And honestly, it's a topic that's difficult. We're a small indie studio. We don't have that many engineers, and this is a problem that even giant AAA studios can't really truly solve. We really wanted to give our players a lot more freedom with DDA, which is where the offline to online play comes from. And with that does carry risk, but we're going to do our best to limit the amount of hacking that people can get away with and isolate and ban as many hackers as we can to prevent hackers from interfering with your gameplay as a legitimate player. As we speak, we've got a handful of engineers plugging away at, finishing up and putting some polish points on our anti-hacking system. I can't really go into detail about what we're doing because it just fuels, their ability to hack our game. But we will be watching and listening and making iterations and improving the anti-hacking system for the duration of the early access in hopes that, we just want to provide you the best possible experience and not have someone ruin your game. If they want to hack, let them hack offline. Away from you is the goal. So.
Yeah. And then also understand that with any game, hacking is sort of a cat and mouse game. So it's never going to be something that we're going to completely abandon from an engineering standpoint.
Yeah, there will be iteration, but we've got some things in place to be throwing some bunch of flags. So we will be pretty low tolerant on the on any kind of hacking or exploitation stuff online. Offline, it's your game. Do whatever you want. Go crazy. But if you try to bring that stuff online, if you get banned,
ice will catch you.
Yeah.
Now, one thing that really stood out, it was kind of hard to miss in the current dev stream, and that is the new tavern. The tavern has expanded greatly. Just amazing. It's not even the same place anymore. It's a massive tavern, and without a doubt, there will be no shortage of things for us to do in the tavern itself before we even hit a map. But the new tavern is going to be absolutely amazing. Now, another thing that's been asked for constantly is about tooltips on towers. Of course, we want to be able to inspect our tower and see how it's doing, and Chromatic did give us a little peek at how that is going to work. Similar to both Dungeon Defenders 1 and Dungeon Defenders 2, there will be a way to go up to your towers and inspect it. Now, they did say that this is just placeholder art, and it's just to show the functionality of taking a look at the tooltips. Now, another big concern from beta was mana. The mana, particularly on survival maps, was just not enough, and one of the main reasons was the mana was despawning before we could get into it. So there's some sort of system put in place for performance that would have mana that's sat on the ground for too long to despawn. Well, now there is going to be mana clumping, and this mana will form together into larger crystals that will remain on the map for longer and give you an opportunity to go and pick it up. Now, this was one of my direct concerns, without a doubt, from the DDA beta, and I'm so stoked to see mana clumping put into the game. Now, another super exciting thing is the loot system, the loot filtering, the loot collecting. In Dungeon Defenders 1, all items auto-sold at the end of the wave, and you got that currency back in return. Anything that you wanted to keep, you had to go physically pick up off the ground. Now, in Dungeon Defenders 2, everything on the ground will completely disappear after a map, unless you have some sort of auto-loot system set up in your bags. Now, it is pretty easy to do in DD2, however, it leads to some inventory management time, where really, to optimize in DD2 and to not miss out on any gold, you want to collect everything. So by all means, you can sort it and have it go to separate bags, but you want to be auto-collecting everything on the ground. That way you're not missing out on any gold. Well, in Dungeon Defenders Awakened, we're going to have the best of both worlds. There will be a filtering system in place that will allow certain tiers of loot that you specify to auto-collect, and then anything that is left on the ground auto-sells. Now, this takes away a ton of the inventory management time that we currently spend in Dungeon Defenders 2, and really gives us the absolute best of both worlds from DD1 and DD2.
Yeah, and so when you filter rarity and item type on your attack map, it also applies to the automatic loot collection at the start of a combat phase. So you can specifically tell your loot filter what you want and what you don't want, and it'll auto sell and auto your inventory after each wave, so you don't have to run around, you can focus on the gameplay. And I love loot filters as a big like ARPG and Path of Exile player. Seeing the loot filter we have now in DDA it makes me so happy.
Now, it has been confirmed a few different times that it would be there at some extent on PC in Dungeon Defenders Awakened, and that is controller support. And it was confirmed that full controller support will be in the game right at early access launch next week. So for controller fans out there, plug them in, you're good to go. Now, the inventory UI, there was a lot of criticism about this during the beta, even though they said that this was not in its final form, and they're telling us once again this is the UI we're going to be getting at early access launch. However, this is all placeholder stuff. None of the art is in yet. There's going to be changes and tweaks to this UI throughout the entire early access period, and won't be finalized until the game launches either in Q2 or Q3. Now, during that early access period, there will be constant updates to the game. As we saw on the roadmap, there are goals to come into the Dungeon Defenders Awakened early access every month, and there will be a large content update every month. In addition to that, there are going to be frequent patches throughout, changing and updating various systems throughout the game. So we're going to have one big content patch every single month through early access, plus frequent patches to update or patch in other issues. Now, on that same note with the UI, Chromatic did confirm that not only the UI and your experience itself, but performance of the game is a top priority, and they're very focused on making sure they deliver in those regards. Now, the question got skirted around a little bit, but the question popped up of, will there be a rarity above legendary items? Of course, in Dungeon Defenders 1, we had several more tiers of quality, where in Dungeon Defenders 2, everything is based off of its individual chaos level. They didn't give us an answer, but they certainly hinted that there could potentially be more past legendary as the higher difficulties and into massacre mode eventually launch.
Hey Alec, will there be anything above legendary items?
I'm not answering that right now. Maybe. Probably. That's as much of an answer as I'm giving right now.
He doesn't know.
Wow. Wow. I know what the colors are. There you go. Yes.
I like the word.
So, you know, I don't want to read into it too far, but it seems like the chance of having that really special loot, for example, that an Ultimate ++ item could deliver in DD1, could make it into Dungeon Defenders Awakened. Now, will it be called Ultimate ++? I seriously doubt it. But as long as there is some sort of special rare loot to keep us farming, it's going to add lots of replay value to the game, and it's really what I personally am looking for if I'm going to play a grind game. Now, they did also mention that kick functions will be there, so a lot of folks have been concerned about that as well. If they have somebody join their match and they're, you know, just chillaxing and not really helping out or trolling or whatever the case may be, the host that creates the match will have the ability to kick. So that will be in there at early access launch on Steam. Now, we did get a look at 3 of the maps that we haven't seen before, one from PAX that was shown, and then 2 others that have not been shown at all. And that is, we got a quick look, or a more in-depth look really, at Tornado Valley. So Tornado Valley is looking like it will be an extremely fun map to play. We also got a look at Tornado Highlands. Now, Tornado Highlands looks like a death trap to me. I'm going to be falling off those ledges left and right. I can just see that coming. There's no doubt at all I'm going to fall off the ledges. However, this Tornado Highlands map really looks good. The lighting and everything on it is, I think it looks great personally. Out of all the maps I've seen so far, this actually to me looks like my favorite one as far as the art and design on the map. Other than, oh my god, there's so many ledges to fall off of, but eventually I'll get over that point. And then we got a look at the ramparts from DD1, the crumbled bulwark from DD2. They both came from the ramparts map in the OG game. And ramparts, of course, is one of the original maps that are making it into Dungeon Defenders Awakened. And we got a quick look at that. It's the same map. It's got the same feel and a lot of the same layout. But there are some differences on the map. There is no doubt about it. And looking forward to playing a little bit of ramparts as well. Now, this obviously is not the full stream. I tried to condense down what I felt like was important information as much as I could. I do encourage everyone to head on over to Chromatic's Twitch page, and you will be able to watch the whole stream on a VOD if you have an hour to spend. The link will be down in the description below. Now, after the Chromatic dev stream, I went live for a stream, and something that wasn't answered on the dev stream that I had asked is, what's the deal with this replay from Wave? And this was confirmed by Danny, one of the Chromatics. And the replay from Wave that is shown on the roadmap is not the DD1 system. In fact, Danny said that nothing has been mentioned so far whether or not that system is going to be making it into the game. So the DD1 survival system, where once you complete a certain wave on survival, you can jump forward to that wave on future runs. We still don't have an answer if that's going to make it into the game, and I am assuming, since it wasn't discussed, it probably won't be there in early access, which means we're going to have some really long 3-hour survival maps to do. Hopefully, they're a little bit shorter than that. We'll have to wait and see. Now, what that feature is that's listed on the roadmap is the DD2 feature of Replay from Wave, where if you fail a map, you can choose to replay and auto-replay that map from the beginning of the wave you failed on. So this is 100% not the DD1 survival skip to wave system. This is the DD2 replay from wave system. I personally am really hoping that skip to wave gets into the game and trims some of the time off of these long survival runs, because we know we're going to want to do those 1,000 times, you know? The more times you do it, the better. We're going to want to do it a bunch. Hopefully we can get that long chunk of time that it takes to do those trimmed down just a touch. So once again, a link to the full VOD of the dev stream will be down in the description below. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm going to be putting out a ton of DDA content as it hits early access, and I am really looking forward to it. So thank you all a ton, and have a wonderful weekend. I will see you next time. Take it easy.